This news update is brought to you by
This is the 7 a.m. Barbados Today update for Tuesday, July the 29th, 2014. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. A pleasant good morning to you. A local political strategist says the time is ripe for a third political party, but Rudon Eversley isn't getting any support on this from colleagues Dr. George Bell and Peter Wickham. Eversley, who played an integral part in the success of the ruling Democratic Labour Party in the 2008 general elections, notes that 40% of the electorate has stayed away from the polls during the 2013 vote, which, according to him, is firm evidence of a growing disenchantment with both parties. But political scientist Bell is contending that a third party can only succeed in Barbados if it's able to draw from either of the two major entities. Political scientist Wickham also argued that for a third party to fly, it had to be able to capture a substantially enough amount of support to stay intact. Meanwhile, two Caribbean leaders have expressed surprise at former Prime Minister Owen Arthur's decision to resign from the Opposition Barbados Labour Party, with one of them suggesting that Arthur still has a lot to offer the country. Baldwin Spencer, who lost the government in the recent Antigua and Barbuda general elections, believes something of a deeper nature between the current leader Mia Motley and Arthur must have influenced him to end his 43-year relationship with the BLP. And Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. Denzil Douglas, says it's difficult to contemplate that Arthur would leave a party he had nurtured for many years. But Douglas declined to comment further, noting that he had problems within his own party. The contribution of Barbadians living overseas to the economic development of the country will be the focus of the third Barbados Network consultation that will be opened by Prime Minister Francis Stewart on August the 5th at the Lloyd Erskine Sandifer Centre. The central goal of the conference is to encourage and facilitate the contribution of the diaspora to the social and economic development of Barbados. Local entrepreneurs would have an opportunity to display and promote their goods and services with the aim of targeting possible export markets. Over 3 days, about 250 Barbadians, their descendants and friends of Barbados at home and abroad will participate in seminars, workshops and panel discussions centered around the theme One Nation, One Family, Building Pathways to Prosperity and Development. In sports, we turn to the latest on that recent altercation involving Barbadian fast bowler Tino Best, who is currently playing for the St. Lucia Zouks in the Caribbean Premier League franchise. 1 week after the fight with Trinidadian Kieron Pollard, who captains the Barbados Tridents, Best says his eyes are on cricket. Speaking to Barbados Today ahead of traveling to Castries for the next leg of the CPL tournament, Best, who declined to give full details behind the brawl, insisted that he has moved on and is focused on his game.
So it's just stuff and more fast have a thing some games we haven't been winning, so that's kind of like demoralizing in a way, but so I've got to focus and be as professional as possible and just work hard.
Jamaica and the Bahamas are the only Caribbean countries which have so far secured medals at the Commonwealth Games taking place in Glasgow. At least that's what the medal tables showed up to last night. Jamaica leads the region in 13th position with a total of 7 medals, that's 2 golds, 2 silver and 3 bronze. The Bahamas ties in 17th position with 6 other countries with a tally of 1, that's a silver. Topping the standings are Australia on 87 medals, followed by England with 74 and Scotland with 33. A Barbados team is taking part in the games.
There's regional and international news after this short break. Hi, I'm Red Plastic Bag. Anyone who knows me knows I don't like cold. Sunshine reigns in my country. I love it.
Catch the sun power.
In regional news, 8 Jamaica police officers who were brought before the court by the Independent Commission on Investigations, or INDICOM, for failing to comply with the lawful request of the commission have been found guilty. Senior Resident Magistrate Georgiana Fraser handed down the verdict in the Corporate Area Resident Magistrates Court yesterday. This case is the first INDICOM matter to be completed by the courts. INDICOM's request emanated from an investigation into the fatal shooting of 2 civilians in August 2010. And finally, on the international scene, most border crossings in Liberia have been closed and communities hit by an Ebola outbreak face quarantine to try to halt the spread of the virus. Screening centers are also being set up at the few major entry points that will remain open, such as the main airport. Meanwhile, Nigeria's largest airline, Arik Air, has suspended all flights to Liberia and Sierra Leone after a man with Ebola flew to Nigeria last week. The BBC's Emily Thomas reports.
There is no known cure, so it's a race against time. This is the deadliest Ebola outbreak on record. Doctors here at a hospital in Sierra Leone are receiving patients who want to make sure they've not been infected. The latest figures from the World Health Organization say more than 1,200 people have been infected in the region. Around 670 of them have died. More than 319 of the deaths have been reported in Guinea, with over 220 deaths in Sierra Leone and more than 120 deaths in Liberia.
And that's been the 7 a.m. Barbados Today update. You can join us again at noon. But in the meantime, log on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribe to our e-paper and our email updates, or like us on Facebook. You can also catch us on Izumia Media in bus terminals or Screenplay in supermarkets and gas stations near you to get more news and sports. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a blessed day.
This news update is brought to you by